houses were built for banks. They weren't built for people. They were built for banks. And then the people were lied to and said, oh, a house is a great investment. A house is one of the dumbest, worst investments a human being could possibly make for one reason. You have to pay the house doesn't pay you. And if it doesn't pay you, it's not a good investment. The bottom line is, take all the math away. If it don't pay you, why are you doing it? I don't want to pay for something. Now, the other argument that Vlad, I know you've had is, well, you got to live somewhere. So it doesn't mean you need it doesn't mean you need to live in the same dumb place for 30 years. So it'd be like buying a car for 30 years.
Stop. I know y'all just saw that clip. Now that is an interesting clip of Grant Cardone. Now before I even go in, I know how people are like, oh, you hating on Grant Cardone. This dude is a billionaire, 300 million and over $1 billion in real estate assets. Like, no. Like, all right, let's go ahead, calm down. Grant Cardone is definitely, he may be one or two, but he's definitely in my top 3 financial personalities on social media who I tend to agree with a lot of what they say. Now, do I agree with everything anybody say? Hell no, I don't agree with everything that my wife say. I don't agree with half of the stuff that I say. I don't agree with half of the stuff that I say after I reflect on it for a while. That being said, definitely not just a hating session on the guy Grant Cardone. I think he's a smart guy. Hey, see, I'm a fan. I got my 10X Rule copy here. I read it, great book. I think I talked about it in a video or something, but definitely a great book. I agree with probably 75, maybe 80% of the things that he say, but that's just kind of how it is. I ain't gonna agree with everybody all the way. But this video was interesting because when we looked at the data and the numbers behind it, let me actually pull it up. Let me pull it up and see how the voting went. So when I put this clip on TikTok, it had over 4.2 thousand views. Now the voting played out interestingly. The question on this video that I put was, is renting smarter than having a mortgage? 54% said yes, 64% said no. It leads to an interesting debate. I guess the typical attorney answer is it depends. It always depends on your situation. I actually looked to try to see what was out there in the ether from the open source. I can't even talk. I got a lisp on the Mike Tyson side of the game. To see what was out there in open source that looked at home ownership as it relates to net worth of the average individual. So I did find a study. I'll link it in the description box below. It was a study that was done, and it showed that in 2020, the average household net worth, hold on, let me pull it up because I don't want to tell y'all something wrong. In 2020, the median U.S. net worth was $122,000. So it looked back in 2019, homeowners had an average median net worth of $255,000, while renters had an average net worth of $6,000. So it was a big ass difference. So the question is asked, and it goes back to, is renter smarter than having a mortgage? Well, I guess the first thing is, like I said, it depends. But first and foremost, for me, I don't look at my primary residence as an investment. I don't look at it as an investment until it's time for me to sell it or move and rent it out. That's typically my move. When I buy house A, I stay in house A for 5 to 7 years. When I leave house A, I typically don't sell it right away. I typically will move, rent that house out. That's just kind of how I've been going about building up my rental portfolio. Now, again, it all depends. Let's just kind of take the Grant Cardones out of this, because Grant Cardone, this dude is probably in the top 1% of wealth in the nation. And when you got that much money, like if I'm Grant Cardone, why the hell would I buy a place anywhere if I'm never anywhere, if that makes sense? You know what I mean? If I'm between New York, LA, whatever, Paris, like, no, I'm not buying a place anyway. It probably would behoove me to just rent out a place for the time that I need it, just because I'm always traveling. But let's just kind of look at the average person, the average individual. The average individual, according to statistics, you live in your house anywhere from 5 to 7 years. To kind of break even from that purchase point at the time of sale, you have to stay in your primary residence for about 4 years. So I think for the average individual, purchasing your home is going to be the biggest purchase that you're going to ever make. And, just, I mean, from a commonsensical standpoint, it technically is an investment. You're going to pay it off. You're going to pay that mortgage. You're going to have to build equity in that house, or you are going to build equity in that house as you hold on to that property, as the property value go up. That equity is going to get calculated in your net worth, and your net worth is going to go up. And so I think, one, it is important for the average individuals. For y'all rich ass people, like if you rich as hell and you watching this, you got like hundreds of millions of dollars. Hey, I appreciate you watching just like everybody else. But if you rich as hell, I see why you wouldn't buy any house, because it would make complete sense. But I think for the average individual, purchasing a home when you're financially ready to purchase a home is probably the best and one of the smartest moves that you can make. Also, for the average individual, it literally diversifies your investment portfolio. When you're looking at your net worth, you're looking at your assets, your liabilities, seeing how much, if any, you got left over. It's dope to have some in investments, some in rental property, some in maybe bonds or gold, and some in actual equity in your personal residence. It kind of diversifies it, because I know it's some YouTubers I watch who actually took the equity out of their home and invested it in the stock market. And like during this downturn, I'm thinking like, I don't, like a year ago, I was like, man, that's smart as hell. Now I'm like, ouch, that's probably painful. So people have flexibility to do different things, but I think owning a home for the average individual is an investment, even though I don't look at it as an investment. Is an investment at the time you're ready to sell it or either rent it out. But I think it is an investment for the most part. But the more important thing is, I think your home is about what you are willing to pay. What are you comfortable with? What gives you peace of mind? Again, for me, my home is a point of refuge. So I wanted to be nice. I wanted to be comfortable. The cost of my home to me is the value or the cost that I'm willing to pay for it. So if interest rates go up 7% and I'm in the market to buy a house, I'm not going to really care about the monthly cost of that mortgage payment, because I already calculated it. I already know what I can afford, and it's worth it to me. That would be like if the housing market crashed and my house value went down by 30%. I honestly wouldn't care. Would it impact my net worth? If my housing value went down by 30%, it'll impact the hell out of my net worth, but it wouldn't impact how I move day to day, because I have a mortgage payment that I can afford, and what I'm paying, I'm comfortable with. And again, that's another benefit of owning a home. You're kind of locked into your mortgage rate, so your rate doesn't go up like your rent does every month. I'm actually working on a video. I probably put it out either Tuesday or Friday, but I actually went back because of that video with Grant Cardone, where I'm comparing, how did the purchase of my home in 2018, late 2018, play out? Was I better off purchasing my house? Would I've been better off renting? And I'm actually going to compare and contrast what I paid annually in my mortgage to what I would have paid for a comparable place in rent, to include things that I had to repair, homeowners insurance, and all of that stuff. And we're going to take a look at how the numbers play out, but we're also going to tie it in and look at how it impacts, our overall net worth, because the equity has to play some part in that equation. I just wanted to do this short video. Y'all let me know the answer to the question: is renting a home smarter than having a mortgage on the home? Amazingly, a lot of the folks who saw it on TikTok, the majority, is a slim majority, is yes. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Y'all have a good weekend. Hey, enjoy y'all day off. Peace.